said something in passing because you're a humble person, but I'm not gonna allow you to skip over it. So you said $1 million in 3 years. So we got to
Yeah.
go back to that, right? So
Yeah.
like, if you could, because
Yeah.
it's interesting you have put that on your social media, and I love it when you like break down here were the debts, right? Because
Yes.
immediately in the Instagram and social media world in which we live, if somebody says something like that without social proof, the comments are, "Oh, prove it." So like, let's prove it, right? Like, if you could give me
Right.
some numbers and walk me through the journey of how you did it.
So initially, so the biggest chunk of it was walk you through like what really happened. The biggest chunk of it was like my student loans. So I had over $200,000 in student loans, and the rest of it was like regular debt. I had taken out a 403B loan to put a down payment on my house. That was a big chunk. Everything else was like I had a commuter car that I needed to pay off, like braces. In the interim, I got married, divorced. Like he had some debts in there. We're like small little things, the braces. He had another car, like all of those things. But the things that are just normal, what happened was I was paying off my debt, got really close to paying off my student loans, was like chunking money at all of these things. And towards the end of the journey, I got a divorce, and then I had to pay him out a settlement, which was like $30,000, plus the way I had filed my taxes because we were going through a divorce was married filing separately. So then I had to owe the IRS $30,000. So I was like really close. I was like $10,000 away from being debt free. Then another 50 something $1,000 got tacked on to my debt. And I just like came to a decision where I did not like I wanted to sell my house. It was a house that I was married in, a whole lot of trauma happened there. I was in a new relationship. I was going to move closer to my family. So I sold my house at the end, like when I had $50,000 left. So in that time I had paid off like 500 something $1,000, right? Including my student loans. Then I paid off at the end. I sold my house, which was another almost 500 something $1,000 that was left on my debt. So that came to $1 million, nearly $1 million. And the reason why I tell you like that, because if I say, well, I sold my house and all this kind of stuff, like automatically people are just like, well, you had a house to sell. Yes, but also if I didn't have the house, I wouldn't have $1 million of debt. It would have been like a $500,000 debt story, right? So,
Well,
and
see,
it is a debt,
I
and
actually
that's
look
what
at it
people don't
differently.
understand.
I
Yes,
actually look at it differently, and there's a reason, because I've seen you walk through the numbers, so I know what
yes,
you're about to say. But the
uh-huh,
reason I say that is because it's not that I think everybody should sell their home, but we've talked about on this podcast that the two things that are most difficult for me to tell a client are
mhm.
when they're in a house that they can't afford and when they don't have the income to send their children to private school. Those are the
Ooh,
two things where I'm just like, look, I'm not saying that you can't, right? I'm not telling you to sell. I'm not telling you to pull your child out of the school, but I am telling you that you can't have that desire and the goal of XYZ, right? We all make a
yes,
choice. My
yes,
son goes to private school. I'm aware that because of that decision, there's certain other things that I can't do financially. So
yes,
to me, you're right. Like you decided to sell the house, but it's like based on what you wanted from your journey,
mhm.
the house had to go.
Yeah,
And
it
to me,
makes
that's the
sense.
powerful thing.
Exactly, exactly. But I say it like that because automatically people disqualify it in their mind. When I say I sold a house, they was like, well, if I had a house to sell, I'd pay off all my debt too. But you just ignored all the other debt. And then it's just people like are like, well, that's not really applicable to me. I can't do that. Like, and so I just don't want people to disqualify. I see it all the time. I'm even like in working with this brand campaign. I'm in a national campaign and I'm sharing these numbers. But like for the lawyers, they're like, well, she needs to prove that she paid off this debt. And I'm just like, I got receipts. Like, I don't understand. Like, why is that so unbelievable? I live in California. The average housing cost is like $700,000. $1 million is not a lot of debt. The thing is, most people just don't add their debt up.
Hmm. Well, you have a
They
safe
don't know.
space here at the New Money, New Problems podcast.